Hello and welcome to yourlocalnote.com. Appreciate you checking us out. We have another live video streaming vidcast, as we like to call it, and we're featuring the band Stellarscope. We'll be talking to the guys in just a few minutes, and also we got a bonus here. They're going to be performing for us live and doing something a little different, something, if you're fans of Stellarscope, this is definitely something you haven't seen them do before. So we've got something precedent-setting here this evening. So appreciate you joining us. Just want to remind you real quickly, we're streaming 24/7. You can download our free apps. Just go to the respective stores and type in YLN. Don't forget, we've got a video update that Mike and I do. You can check that out. And also our concert calendar, where you can see where your favorite bands are playing throughout the area. All right. In just a few minutes, we'll be talking with Stellarscope. We're going to start things off with the song Friend for the End from the album The End Is Near, I'm Not Prepared. This is Stellarscope on yourlocalnote.com. The song is called Friend for the End, and it's from the album The End Is Near, I'm Not Prepared, and the band is called Stellarscope, and they're joining us here on our vidcast. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate you coming out.
Oh, thank you so much for having us, RJ.
All right, why don't we real quickly just go down the row here, introduce yourself and what you do with the band.
Okay, my name's Bob Foreman. I'm the drummer.
Okay.
I've been the drummer for quite some time. We go back 17 years now?
Yeah, close to
16, 17 years, so it's quite a long time with me and Tom. So
okay.
I play the drums and play a little percussion here and there, and Don't get me in front of a keyboard or a stringed instrument. That's all I say. I'll stick to the drums.
Nice.
Thank you.
Next.
I'm Tom Lugo. I play guitar and I sing in the band. In addition to that, I tend to record a lot of sampling into the music. I play keyboards and several other instruments on the albums. So in this particular album, I'm playing, the bass as well.
Okay, very good.
Hi, I'm Ed Neenan, and I was recently hatched.
He's the new guy.
I'm the new guy. And
We're still giving him noogies.
I do what Tom tells me to do, and I roll my eyes when Bob asks me to do something.
That's pretty much it.
So,
Very nice.
As everybody in my life rolls their eyes.
All right,
It's a
very
funny
good.
thing.
Tom, tell us how you picked the name Stellarscope for the name of the band.
Actually, this is an interesting story because the band was actually called The Flow.
Okay.
But and that was from 98 to 2000. In 2000, we noticed that there was a lot of different groups with Flow written in their names. So
Okay.
we have to do something to change that.
Sure.
So we had an assignment with all the band members at the time to kind of pick, what the name would be. So we winded up on a composite of Stellar and Scope. Scope as in something to look through,
Okay.
and stellar to look at the stars.
Right.
Later on, we figure out, like a couple of years later, as the internet starts expanding, that there was actually an article called a Stellarscope, which is a telescope, but it's like a planetarium inside.
Oh.
It's like a star finder.
Okay.
for
So science. You're not. I mean, science is just not something. It just was coincidence. You're not really interested in science. Or
Oh,
anything.
no. Science, I
mean,
am
I am
interested
as-
in. We're all kind of geeks in that.
Okay.
I'm interested.
Most people on Saturdays will be watching sports, or Sunday watching sports, and we'll be watching like the History Channel, or
Okay.
watching some science, show on TV. So,
Yeah. My wife watches the crime shows, so I tell people if I disappear, you'll never be able to pin it on
She's
her.
in her education.
She knows everything
She
to
does,
do right
yeah.
and wrong.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
get the perfect crime sorted out.
Scares the crap out of me, so I'm a good husband. All right. Let's talk about the first song then. Friend for the End. What is that song about?
Well, there's a whole theme going on with this album, which is, kind of the end of time situation that everybody keeps on talking about. It's been going on now for years. I mean,
Yes.
thousands of years, but really in the last couple of decades, everybody has some sort of thing going on.
Well, we had a
whether
guy
it's
predicting
alien-
the end of the world.
Oh, exactly.
The
It was May,
apocalypse
that
is
May
the in
20th
thing.
something
Yes.
a couple of years
Yes.
ago, and we were waiting, but nothing happened.
Nothing happened, but it ended for him a short time afterwards.
Yes, absolutely. He wasn't as popular after that.
No, he's gone. He died a couple of years later. Yeah.
Zombies and the end of the world. It
Right.
seems like the hip thing to talk about. these
Okay.
days.
Very good.
Everything's an apocalypse.
Right. So we built the concept behind the album around all of those different themes. That's why, based on the song that you're hearing, it's kind of like a separate story being told within the theme of the album.
Okay.
So Friend for the End is just that.
Okay.
We know the end is coming. It's here. It's imminent, and we're just looking for some people that are like-minded. We can hang out, and you know what? Let's party until it does end.
Okay. So, did you write the music and the lyrics?
Yes.
Oh, so
Yes.
are you the main songwriter for the band?
Yes, primarily. Yes, I am.
Okay. Is the process where you just bring it and say, okay, here it is, and then they do some tweaking and changing?
Certain songs are that way, but for the most part, what happens is that we jam as a band together.
Okay.
So, we go in, we just start jamming some, different sounds, and based on what's going on, if there's a feeling to it, then I kind of start incorporating song structure elements to it.
Okay.
And then, we jam it a couple of times, and we record everything that we do, so
Yeah, I
that
was
way we
gonna
can go back and.
I was going to say that. You record. He records every single thing that's going on in rehearsals.
So we'll find songs here and there throughout these jams. So we can make this a song. We can make this a song.
So everyone is participating in the
Yes,
in the musical end.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then once, and this is one of those things that's kind of funny. A lot of bands tend to practice things a lot before they record.
Right.
We don't believe in that.
Okay.
All right. We believe in jamming it a couple of times, and the first couple of times it starts sounding like what we want it to sound, we record it. And if the first take is good or good enough, we're going to keep it and then kind of polish it from there with the other instruments and everything else.
A lot of this album was developed that way. A lot of this album was a couple takes. Mm-hmm. Some songs might have been one take, with just me and Tom doing it.
Okay.
And if it fits, if everything works out, we'll use it as a song.
Okay, and then you go from there. So you're obviously a do-it-yourself band. You do all the recording. Is this something you've always done, or is this something that has come lately because technology has allowed it to be easier to do that?
No, actually, it's something that we've always done. And I guess I should take a big, gigantic step back. I went to high school and college in Puerto Rico. So,
okay.
That's kind of where I really got into being in bands and playing out, and got my first kind of taste of being in a pretty nominal band back in Puerto Rico when we were in college. The band was called Arnold Lane. We did sign a contract with an independent label out of Texas at the time called JAV Records, and money was put in. We did some playing out and everything, but it just didn't work out for us. Mm-hmm. So after that, I joined the military, and I just bought myself a guitar, a chord book, and a Tascam 4-track tape recorder. And I just started teaching myself how to play by playing it and recording it, because then I can actually say, all right, well, I need to work on this, and this, and then I never learned, most musicians learn somebody else's song, like like a cover or something.
Yes.
I'm terrible at it, because since I started playing my own music, I've just been writing my own stuff. I don't really go and learn somebody else's. So
you also taught yourself songwriting. You weren't trained or anything like that.
But prior to that, I was in all these bands, and I was kind of the lyricist, and I would do the vocals, but I didn't play guitar or anything, or any other instrument for that matter. I did play some 4-chord punk bass and garage sort of band for a bit, but that didn't really go anywhere.
The lyrics then.
You're here.
You say you're influenced by science and things like that. Do you like to tell stories then with your songs, or is there life experiences there, or is it stuff that you think everyone can relate to? How do you work with your lyrics?
Actually, it's a little bit of everything. To be completely honest, I mean, yes, I talk about relationships, whether that be between friends or romantic relationships, whatever the situation may be in that end. World themes, things that are happening. Actually, you were mentioning earlier about the Reverend. That was
yes.
On our self-titled album, we have a song that is about him and what he's doing. So
and his prediction of the end of the world.
So, and I'm using that as an example because it's something that we just spoke about.
Sure.
And we actually touched upon the whole situation of him coming up with these predictions, and they don't come true, and what do you do afterwards?
Right.
We touch upon a lot of things. Science, definitely, there's a lot of science in what we do, and the other part that's interesting is that a lot of the songs sound nice and happy. Mm-hmm. We make them like that. But if you're actually paying attention to the lyrics, they're ultra depressive. It's like really, kind of like a balance between all of the negative stuff that you have to deal with and how to make something positive out of it.
So you got a nice smile, you're laughing right now, but actually you're really a miserable person is what it is. No, I'm kidding.
No, but it's interesting because I do, it's funny, it's like those ebbs and lows, the highs and lows. It's how to still feel those feelings and touch upon those things when you're in your lows.
Right.
Because everybody goes through it. It doesn't matter how happy a person is.
Sure.
And how to constantly write, about it. So that way it's a way to deal with those negative feelings.
Okay.
And you just get it out in song and you don't have to deal with them internally.
Okay. Very good.
And a lot of it's tongue in cheek. Typically
we have a lot of songs where just really just like
having fun with it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would say.
Okay. Let's do this. You guys are going to play live for us, which is great. This is something
we are.
Yeah. This is something you don't really do in this type of setting.
Yeah, normally normally we're like, we're an effects band, really.
Right.
We use a lot of effects, a lot of distortion. It's a big, gigantic wall of sound. So that's kind of what we typically do. If anybody's been to our shows, they know.
Okay.
You have to go in with your plugs because we're going to make your ears bleed.
Tonight it's just a building block.
Exactly.
Like a little child's block.
And you just make sure that you take your heart medication too, because the bass is going to be so loud, it's going to be pumping on your chest and making you feel like you're going to have a heart attack.
Okay, so it's not going to happen here.
No.
But let's.
Fortunately.
Yeah. So, the song you guys are going to play first is called "This Will End Tonight."
Yes, this is about suicide.
Oh.
What a happy dude.
Okay. So when we come back, we'll let you guys play. When we come back, we'll talk about this happy song. Okay. All right. You're hanging out with us on yourlocalnote.com. We really appreciate you joining us. The band is Stellarscope. Song they're going to play live for us. It's called "This Will End Tonight." It's from their album "The End Is Near. I'm Not Prepared" on yourlocalnote.com. Take it away, guys.
Now I'm so depressed, all alone and feeling blue. No, I'm not impressed with the noise coming from you. Just leave me alone. Today I feel like I could die. Boy, I made a mess. Never said I didn't try. All fucked up inside. Oh, sweet suicide. Got the cyanide. This will end tonight. Oh, I'm so depressed, all alone and feeling blue. No, I'm not impressed with the noise coming from you. Just leave me alone. Today I feel like I could die. Boy, I made a mess. Never said I didn't try. Oh, fucked up inside. Oh, sweet suicide. Got the cyanide. This will end tonight.
Okay, there we go. The band is Stellarscope, and the song is called "This Will End Tonight." All right, Tom, I love the ending there, Ed. That was good. So you're giving it a little sample with the fuzzy guitar. Let's talk about that, because one of the ways you describe your music, it's called shoegaze.
Yes.
And so that shoegaze, it's alternative, post-punk, indie rock, psychedelic metal, indie rock. Explain shoegaze to me.
All right. While in the U.S. in the early 90s, we had the grunge movement, the movement that was going on in the UK was called labeled shoegaze.
Okay.
There were a lot of bands that were known for bringing kind of more of a psychedelic sound to alternative rock, have that 80s post-punk feel to
Sure.
it.
All right.
And it was very, very effects-led. So tons of effects, and when they performed, most of them were kind of on the geeky side, if you would, right?
Okay.
They didn't do a normal performance. Like in the U.S., we're normally seeing, the singer jumping around all over the stage.
Right.
Over there, they were just sitting there and looking down at their shoes because they were just focused on the pedals. So it was a term that initially was used to kind of use it, I guess, a derogatory term to it. It was called shoegaze because that's, the first time that a journalist went to see one of these bands, he just saw them staring at their feet all night, no performance. So, but a lot of the bands, since then, so a lot of them broke up and a lot of them have regrouped and, they're touring. A lot of them have come to Union Transfer. We had Jesus and Mary Chain. They're part of that scene. My Bloody Valentine had the show at the Electric Factory. They're from that scene as well. Maisie Starr came back. They're from that scene.
Spiritualized.
Even the band that had the issue with the Rolling Stones, the Verve. Bittersweet Symphony. They were part of that scene. Oasis started in that scene. So just to give you kind of like an idea of where it's coming from. So it's more of that British kind of modern British sound.
If it might have developed with Pink Floyd. Used to actually look at their shoes when they used to play back in the day.
Right. Okay.
I don't know if you developed from that or not, and it might have.
Any band that's into the psychedelic thing, it's known for having a lot of pedals on the floor. So
it just is an offshoot of that. So you were definitely as you were as forming your band, psychedelic music was very influential to you.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then you just found members who were had similar types of influences.
With us, it's funny because sometimes from a musician's standpoint, we, when we need a musician to come onto the band, sometimes we've actually turned away very good musicians because they're not compatible in terms of personalities. To us, personality is the most important thing. We don't do this and we don't do this to make money. So if you're coming in with the expectation that we're going to be, making, rolling in the dough, you're in the wrong band. If you're looking to have that stardom sort of thing, it isn't going to happen. We're more about doing it because we love doing this.
Okay.
We're all professionals.
Now you tell me.
Poor Ed.
It's like we all have, we're pretty successful at our day jobs as well. So, this is something that we've always done.
You didn't quit your day job, did you?
I just did today. I thought we were coming down here, and that was it. We were going to hop in the van.
The jet's not waiting outside.
Sorry about that, Ed. Okay.
Now back into a corner.
Now, but the main band is just the three of you, correct?
Actually, there's four of us.
There's four. Okay.
The bass player is actually part of the Iberian.
Yeah, the AOH, the Irish.
Yeah, the Iberian. Yeah,
AOH.
yeah. Okay.
They do a lot of really great charity work.
Yep.
So it's one of his two big meetings this year. Tonight.
Just tonight.
So Scott! He'll understand that one.
Okay.
But yeah, Scott plays bass with us live, and right now we're starting to work on some jams and stuff like that, and see what we can come up with as a four-piece.
Okay.
Because like I mentioned, this last album, it was just really Bob and I, would get there to record, and then I take it home. Record bass, guitars, vocals, and that sort of thing. That's how the album.
That's basically how. So Ed, were you part of?
No. It was really kind of weird. I migrated under the veil of night. From Baltimore to Philadelphia.
Okay, sort of like how the Colts left for Indianapolis.
Exactly.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. I needed to be reminded of that. Okay. Yeah.
I'm here for the cheap shots.
And we're also not going to talk how 2 years ago the Eagles whipped the Ravens' butts either.
Okay.
But no, it's really funny. The interesting thing about Facebook, from a musician standpoint, is obviously with everything being so on demand now, baby bands, indie bands, solo artists, they're recording very lo-fi, indie, homespun stuff and popping it out there. Well, I have my own band, as that I'm the Tom Lugo in my band.
Okay.
And but I don't look anything like him. And so Tom and I, we realized through our Facebook friendship, and yeah, I mean, we're talking like before we became friends.
Right.
We were friends on Facebook, which doesn't really constitute friendship.
Right.
But Tom was posting a lot of this new material that was eventually going to be on this record.
And you were checking it out?
I was checking it out, and because most of my band is actually still back in Baltimore and D.C.
Okay.
I mean, and that's not like it's a big, distance to travel to play and rehearse. But so I flipped Tom a message and said, hey, man, I'm hearing a lot of this stuff. It's really good. But also from what I'm hearing, I'm going, Tom can't be doing all of this stuff with his new record coming out. I said, if you're ever looking for another guitar player, let me know.
Okay.
And it was really big. He says, dude, we just started rehearsing the record to go out live and to do some of this stuff. Why don't you come down and check out what's going on? And this ties into Tom's being friends, enjoying each other's company as well as the music.
Right.
And I kind of knew from what Tom was doing that my pedal rig would at least be close. Nobody's pedal rig is close to Tom's pedal rig. But I knew that
you can stay in the same area.
I knew that my style would fit in, or at least I hoped it would.
Okay.
Came down and it was kind of like love, hate at first sight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is your other band similar to what you're playing here, or is it different?
We're not. I would not say that we're a shoegaze band, but as Tom would probably say, a lot of the guitar treatments and some of the keyboard washes are those genres intersect.
Okay.
So
it's not exactly the same.
I immediately knew what this effort was all about. I knew where it came from. I knew where the style was. And while I tend to maybe be a little poppier, I certainly understood about all the guitar washes and all of that stuff. And so because I had no intention of wanting, I've got my own gig.
Right. So this was just something.
I don't want to come in and be the singer and be this and be all that.
Just a different project for you.
Totally different project.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was. It met the daily musical food requirements.
Well, one of the things that has surprised me in doing this, what we do with yourlocalnote.com, is the amount of musicians who do what Ed does, as far as they'll have one band and then they're the lead of that band, but then they join another band just to hang out and just play.
Yeah.
And it happened more than I thought it would happen. Yeah. So
I'm actually in a cover band.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where he plays in the,
we do like classic rock and new stuff.
Sure.
Yeah. So everybody, does
you got your own projects and stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And how many projects do I have?
I think 5 or 6.
There you go.
So you have other projects you do by yourself or with other people?
I actually have a project called Panaphonic, which is pretty much just me. It's kind of solo stuff.
Okay.
I started the project because I have musical ADD. I'm always writing.
Okay.
So it was stuff that I couldn't put together with Stellarscope.
All right.
So I just started doing that on my own. That was back like in 2002. So since then, I've actually put out about 17 full-length albums.
Have you really?
Yeah, with Stellarscope, this is our 15th full-length record.
Okay.
So we've been pumping music out consistently, and this is in addition to multiple EPs and songs that we're just doing for certain compilations and that sort of thing.
So you're constantly writing?
Oh, yeah. So that's one. Then I have a project called Shishi with my wife.
Okay. She's a musician, too?
Well, actually, here's the thing. With her... I wrote all the music, and I was going to use it for Panaphonic, but I wasn't sure. I'm like, I need something different. So I've been bugging her for years to sing. She has a pretty good voice, but, she only sings when she's, like, doing something, cooking or something like that.
Right, right.
I'm like, you can sing. I want you to sing on an album with me. And she was kind of hesitant at first, but, when she heard the music, she's like, yeah, I think I can work with this. So, we sat down, we wrote lyrics together. Some of them I wrote and wrote the melodies, and she sings them. So, within a couple of months, we, put out our first album.
Okay.
Under Shishi, and that one's called Eternal Bliss. And right now we already have 14 songs recorded
For another album.
And yes, and we just put that out in the middle of last year. Then I have a project with a friend of mine from...
Is it the guy from Korea?
Yeah, from South Korea. He lives in South Korea, and we do everything over the internet, and that's called Super Toys. Now, his name is Joey Levinson, and he's played with some pretty nominal shoegaze bands out in the UK, like Space Echo, which, ties back to the 90s band Curve.
Okay.
So, that's one. And then I have another project with a whiz kid in the city, does a lot of electronics. His name is Jason Ellis.
Okay.
And that project is called Under the Wire.
How do you keep this straight in your head? And how do you write a song?
They make medication for this.
Okay.
Yes, I know. If I take my medication, I'll forget everything.
I mean, I was going to say, does your wife hear you write a song and you're going to put it for Stellarscope, and she says, no, we're keeping it for Shishi?
No, actually, it's funny because her style of music is she's very eclectic.
Okay.
So she listens to everything from Motown, R&B to,
and you adapt to her
right,
style.
And she's more into the 70s, 80s, and 90s rock, whether it's alternative, like
Right.
a lot of The Cure, Echo and the Bunnymen, The Church. But the next thing she's doing is listening to Pink. Or
Sure.
Adele or something, so it's really
it's all over the place.
Al Green or
Right.
Frank Sinatra. It's very eclectic. We have very eclectic music taste in our household. A lot of vinyl too.
What's vinyl?
Yeah.
Vinyl. Well, a lot of the kids nowadays know what vinyl is.
Yeah, because it's making a little bit of a comeback.
Yeah.
A little bit. There's something about vinyl. So you're constantly writing.
Yes.
Now, the way you describe the way you make your music, you jam together. We're going to come back to Stellarscope. We're going to leave your other projects alone because I think we can have you come back and talk about that at another show.
Be more than happy to.
Yeah. The thing is, okay, so you jam together with the music. Now, do you have lyrics just all written all over the place, and then a song will come up and you'll be like, oh, this will go well with this?
Nah, not really.
Do you write then the lyrics after the song? Okay.
The lyrical process for me is very tedious, and the reason being is after writing so many songs, I'm well over 500 songs, it's hard to figure out what I'm going to talk about next.
Okay.
So, or if I'm going to touch upon a theme that I've touched upon before, it's how am I going to make it sound different and not rehash the same, lyrical process.
Right.
So yeah, that part takes a little bit longer. I mean, sometimes the album will be written for 5-6 months before I actually have lyrics written for it. So I'll be just listening to it constantly, doing different drafts of lyrics, different drafts of melodies.
Do you work with someone in case you're getting writer's block, or it's all
really.
yourself?
I work with my car.
Okay, your car.
Yeah, the CD player's in.
Okay,
And
I was
I'm
going to
just
say
constantly in the car. I do my best writing in the car, and I just put my voice recorder and just record.
If you're going to tell me you talk to your car and the car talks back to you, I was leaving.
No, but I wish I had Kit.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
I always wanted Christine. So.
You wanted Christine.
That says a lot about you, Ed. It really does.
Don't let the black clothing scare you.
So the lyrics come after the music all the time then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, very interesting. And then you record it yourself?
Yes. I have we have pretty much 2 studios. His basement is our primary studio. We record everything there, and then I have a production studio in my basement. So
you do some recording yourself, Bob?
Well,
you
we record in my basement.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you mix it together, or do you...
I do a lot of different mix downs and drafts and just bring them in and kind of let them listen to it and kind of critique it.
Oh, okay.
The main criticism that I always get is, the bass is too high, Tom. There's too much bass on that. Right?
Too boomy.
It's too boomy.
Too
much bass. I love bass.
Tommy, too boomy. I cannot hear it.
Okay, so you work together on the mixing. You do it, but then you lay it out and let them...
I take their feedback and kind of get an idea of because, again, when you're constantly listening to something... sometimes it just starts sounding good just because you've listened to it so many times.
Okay.
And then you need, that extra
Another
set
ear.
of ears, and and the same thing with like the referencing. You have to, because you use it through the monitors and the, like the sound monitors, engineering monitors, and they sound great. Mm-hmm. They're meant to have that clarity, but then when you play it in a car stereo, it doesn't sound the same, and then you have to kind of readjust.
Right.
Like my car is my friend, my writing friend.
Okay.
But because I do the same thing, I'll be listening to it, and I'm like, I have a notepad always on the side, and I'll put, take down the bass on this song.
Okay.
More snare here.
Okay.
The toms sound muddy. Clean up. It's just kind of ways for me to listen to it constantly and kind of get an idea of how I'm going to clean it up.
All right.
Again, I do everything. I'm the sound engineer. I'm the production. I do the mastering. Everything.
Do you do that then with all your projects?
Yes.
So you're in charge of all. You're not like Ed, where you go to one project just so you can just hang out and play.
Nah.
Okay. So you got control issues, is what? No, I'm kidding.
No, you're absolutely right. I do have control issues.
Okay.
They call me
Talk to me. I worked with them for 15 years.
He knows.
Okay.
Don't make me have to pull out the whip. No,
Here,
I'm
we'll
just
call his
kidding.
wife.
Yeah, it can't be that bad. You're still with him. All right, let's go to the next song you're going
on
to
drugs
perform
now.
live. The song is called "The Machines Must Die." Let's play it, and then we'll talk about it when you come back. Okay. This is yourlocalnote.com. We're hanging with Stellarscope. The album we're talking about is "The End Is Near." I'm Not Prepared, and the song they're going to play right now is called "The Machines Must Die" on yourlocalnote.com.
Thank you.
We feed the machines with our flesh and blood. Let them die, we have had enough. It is surely not what we thought it was. Let's turn down the gate, Babylon must fall. We pay for our sins, Judgment Day begins. There is no salvation and our future's growing dim. Our lascivious ways are what brought us here. We pollute our mind in the hearts of fear. Drowning by a thread, don't sense to carry on. The machines we build will destroy us all. We'll pay for our sins, Judgment Day begin. There is no salvation and our future's growing dim. We'll pay for our sins, Judgment Day begins. There is no salvation and our future's growing dim. Machines with our flesh and blood. Let them die, let them starve. We have had enough. It is surely not what we thought it was. Let's burn down the gates. Babylon must fall. We'll pay for our sin. Judgment Day begin. There is no salvation and our future's growing dim. We'll pay for our sins, Judgment Day begins. There is no salvation and our future's growing dim.
Machines Must Die. Stellarscope is the band. The album is called The End Is Near. I'm Not Prepared. Guys, let's talk about that. The Machines Must Die. What is that about? Is that about our dependence on machinery?
Yeah, actually, I came up with the idea for the lyrics based on a sci-fi movie, a German sci-fi movie called Metropolis.
Okay.
It's actually a that's silent film.
I was going to say, that's an old movie.
Now, what's interesting about that movie being that it is so old, if you watch it, it's predicting how things are today.
Right.
So when I was, watching the movie, I'm like, dude, this would be a cool concept for the lyrics for the songs, because we already had the songs written. So,
right.
It was one of those things. I revisit the movie, and it just kind of sparked the lyrical process, and I just, wrote the whole song, the lyrics to the song, in like 3 or 4 minutes. That's how quick it took me. Once it clicks, it clicks.
So you could be going through your day, and then something could click, and you'll say, "Okay, this will be good. Let me just start." And you got to start writing.
Oh yes.
Are you the type that needs to start and then finish at the same time, or can you go back to lyrics?
Sometimes it has to be done.
Okay.
So if it takes me 4 or 5 hours, it's going to take me 4 or 5 hours to get it done.
And if you're doing something else, you'll stop and just start writing?
It's the ADD.
Oh, really?
I can't. It's the truth. That you're either very distracted or you have extreme focus. So when you find that thing that gives you that focus, you just kind of like jump in there and
go for that.
All those backups on the Schuylkill?
Yes. he's stopping and writing.
Yes. Yeah. I stand in the middle of the road with a notepad.
Nice. Very nice. All right, we touched on the fact that you guys are playing live. You did a great job with the songs, but this is not how you normally are on stage. Can you give us a little, for people who may not have seen you, give us a little description of what to expect from a Stellarscope show?
Well, for one thing, it's a live rock show, electric. It's 2 guitars, a bass, and drums. And like Tom said before, we're pretty loud. So
okay,
it's very loud and noisy, and this is definitely something different that we've never really done before.
Okay.
Actually, I kind of liked it.
Okay, I was going to ask. Are you pretty good with that?
Yeah,
you
it was actually turned out better than I thought it would.
You're enjoying it?
Oh, absolutely. And it's funny because one of the things that happens when we're performing live is that we're all very energetic on stage.
Okay.
So, everybody's moving, jumping, doing something. So doing something like this is actually less exhausting than playing out loud.
Okay.
Because for real, I mean,
talking about my hands hurt from that. I'm just.
We do a 45-minute set, which is typical around most of the places around here, and. We're exhausted. We're drained. We're
from start to finish.
Right. We're just, whether there's one person there or there's 3,000, to us it doesn't matter. We are going to perform the way we perform, and our thing is putting on a show, having the energy, which is also in our genre, because they classify us, under the shoegaze genre. A lot of other, mediums have done that, but we don't consider ourselves a shoegaze band.
No, not if you have a lot of energy.
Exactly. We consider more the post-punky sort of sound. We're more like a punk band with a lot of psychedelia. If you listen to our albums, you'll notice that there's that element of that, kind of rawness of like the 80s, 90s, like punk, but it's done completely different.
Okay.
First time I played live with these guys. And, in rehearsal in Bob's basement, I mean, we're all just like focused. Maybe do something cool and you smile and you look at the other guy or something like that.
You wink at him.
You don't, well,
Go try to touch his leg.
Check his teeth.
Why, Tom, I'm glad you got this spot.
Yeah.
But the first thing, it's so funny, the first time we played live, I had no idea what Mental Man here was going to do, and so and he, I'm just doing my thing, and I'm over there, and I'm doing this, and and I'm looking at it, and he's just totally like arms akimbo going, you know, guitar slung down like Ramon style guitar slung down to his knee. And then he drops out of my peripheral vision. I'm like, where the hell Tom go? He's down on the floor doing all this stuff and then gets back up for the next line of the song. And I'm going, all right, great. I don't have to worry about capturing anybody's attention. Tom's got all this stuff covered right there.
Okay. All right.
He's a joy. He actually gets, I don't know, I can't speak for Bob, but
You sure you've been trying to all night? No, I'm kidding.
Bobby! But Tom, it's like Tom gets everybody jazzed up.
Right.
Which that's the unintentional job is just like he's so damn passionate about the music that, but when he turns that switch on live and he's like, yeah, we, one person, 3,000, it's Tom.
Okay. All right. So let's segue into where people can see you perform and see Tom on the floor and all over the place. Shows coming up?
Actually, right now, we just finished a mini tour.
Okay.
We went out to Chicago and came back. So we've been kind of planning on something later on in the fall because we do have a lot of bands that we network with. We've known for many years that are going to be kind of coming through town in August.
Oh, okay.
September, so we're kind of focusing on that. And right now, there might be something happening at, either the end of the month or the early part of next month that they just contacted us about at
Okay.
Cafe
Okay.
Live in Wilmington.
Okay.
So that might be our next performance. But
All right.
we're not going to kind of divulge any major announcement because we're not sure. It's not set in stone. But Panaphonic, my solo stuff. Okay. I'm gonna be playing at Terry's.
Okay.
Terry's bar right there in the Italian market, right off
Yep.
Pat's and Gino's.
Yeah.
July 11th with Audio Kings of the Third World.
Oh, yeah. We've had them in.
And,
Good guys.
and Lapses.
Okay.
Which I just performed with them this last Friday, which was great.
Okay. When you get your shows firmed up with Stellarscope, let us know so we can put it up on the site.
Absolutely. And again, I mean, we haven't said this on the air, but we just want to thank you so much, not just for having us here. We're very, very grateful. But what you're doing within the local scene. We've been heavily involved in the scene. And
right.
I don't mean just by playing out. I used to hold, festivals with the University of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Pop Noise festivals.
Okay.
All-day event,
Yep.
15, 16 bands, free. All you had to do was bring canned food for the Philadelphia
Oh, okay. Very nice.
Corporation of the agent.
Very nice.
So, also tying it in with a lot of the community things happening in the city. And again, we're at a different stage. We're not, right now I'm the youngest guy in the band, and I'm 42, so
Okay.
you figure that one out. so like
a fine cheese.
Yes.
we're like fine wine. We get better
Yes.
with age.
Nice.
But yeah, it's one of those things that we like to give back and look for different ways. Even if our Reverb Nation page,
Yep.
everything that's sold there, half of the money goes to Oxfam in America.
Oh, okay.
So and we have other charities that we're tied in with. With Fender Foundation, which they help out schools get instruments and things
Oh,
like
nice.
that. So,
Nice.
I try to get really involved in that sense.
Okay, very good. Well, keep us up to date, and if you've got some stuff coming up, let us know so we can promote it on our site. Like I said, we do, try to do it every week. But Mike and I talk about what's going on in the music scene in the area, and we'll promote whatever you guys are doing, especially when it comes to charities. We want to help out that way. We believe the same way. You got to be involved and giving. So please keep us up to date with that. All right, guys, thank you so much. Before we go, where can people find your music? You did mention Reverb Nation.
Oh, yeah. You can,
websites and all the good stuff.
All right. So you can find us on www.pateticorecordings.com. Now, that's a little weird because it's pathetic spelled in Spanish because my primary language is Spanish. So, but you can actually find us on Facebook, Stellarscope on Facebook. We have music on SoundCloud. You can find tons of of our videos, live performances on YouTube. We have our own channel there.
Okay.
And plus, I archive things. So pretty much almost every band that we've performed with, we have a video of them.
Oh, nice.
On there. So we got
Nice.
thousands of bands from all over the world, also on there. Very unique bands. So one of the things that I eventually would like to do is kind of put together a documentary of all of this.
What you've done through your career, yeah.
Right. And not just what I've done. It's more
Just the
all
music
these
scene.
bands, right? All of these bands that are so good, and some of them never got any attention,
Right.
or some of them are still trucking around and still not getting attention, and it's just a good avenue and a good way to kind of get them exposure, because ultimately, I believe in friendship.
Okay.
So, we kind of keep on working with the same bands. I've worked with, hundreds of bands, from all over the world, putting together tours, the festivals. I own my own record label. Where
Okay.
I have over 30 artists from different
Do you
parts
really?
of the world.
Okay.
Signed to the label. So yeah, again, music has always been my passion, and I'm trying to do as much as I
I've
can
picked
to
up on
promote it.
that. it took me a while. I'm not the quickest guy here, but I did pick up. Yeah, you like your music, and so you're immersed in it constantly.
Yes.
Very cool. All right. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you guys. Really appreciate it.
All right, thank
and
you.
we're going to wrap it up with the last song called Luxuria. Tell us a little bit about that song.
All right, so luxuria is the word actually means an entity that is all about lust. So if you listen closely to the lyrics, it sounds like a love song, but it's a little bit more than just that.
Okay, very good. All right, guys. Again, thank you so much. Appreciate you hanging out with us.
Thank you.
We're going to
so
have
much.
another pot of Vidcast up next Monday, and we will be. I can't remember, but we got another a live Vidcast coming up, and we'll put that up on our Facebook page and Twitter and on our site and things like that. So that'll be coming up soon. Remember, we stream live 24/7, or I should say, we stream music 24/7 on yourlocalnote.com. You can check out the best of the local music scene right here on yourlocalnote.com. And of course, we have a concert calendar. You can see where the bands are playing. And Mike has a newsletter that he puts out. He does a great job with that. Just contact us at contact@yourlocalnote.com, and we'll get that to you. Okay, wrapping things up with Stellarscope. The song is called Luxuria from the album The End Is Near. I'm Not Prepared. This is yourlocalnote.com.